Welcome to Tech with Kaushik. This is part 11 of our complete practice question series for the AIF-C01 AWS Certified AI Practitioner exam. Choose your answer before the timer ends, then review the correct answer, explanation, and exam tip. Let us begin part 11. Focus on the key wording in question number 280. The next concept is ML data concepts. Focus on the requirement that drives the design choice. A machine learning team is preparing a dataset of credit card transactions to train a supervised classification model. An analyst manually reviews thousands of rows and tags each transaction with a specific category, fraudulent or legitimate. Which data preparation step is the analyst performing? Focus on which option satisfies the complete requirement. Option A. Data balancing. Option B. Data normalization. Option C. Data labeling. Option D. Data encoding. The option that satisfies the complete requirement is C. Data labeling. The decisive reason is data labeling, or annotation, is the process of manually identifying raw data, like a transaction, and adding one or more meaningful and informative tags, like fraudulent or legitimate, to provide context so that a supervised machine learning model can learn from it. The incorrect choices are plausible, but unsuitable because A. Data balancing involves mitigating class imbalance, for example, artificially duplicating minority classes so fraud and legitimate have equal representation, not the act of applying the initial tags. B. Data normalization scales numerical data down to a standard range, for example, between 0 and 1, to help models converge faster. It has nothing to do with categorizing text. D. Data encoding converts categorical text data into numerical formats, like one-hot encoding, so ML algorithms can process it. It is not the human process of tagging the data. Remember this decision rule. Adding the correct answers or target categories to a dataset before training a supervised model is called data labeling. Move to question number 281. Identify the requirement in this scenario. An enterprise is establishing a new AI center of excellence. The Chief AI Officer mandates that all developers must complete a mandatory training curriculum focused on ensuring AI systems do not discriminate against users and that their decisions are interpretable. Which training topic aligns directly with these specific requirements? Compare the options. Choice A. Training on advanced coding skills. Choice B. Training on advanced ML algorithms. Choice C. Training on data privacy and encryption protocols. Choice D. Training on bias awareness and responsible AI. The best answer is D. Training on bias awareness and responsible AI. Fairness, preventing discrimination against demographic groups, and explainability, ensuring human interpretability of AI decisions, are core pillars of the responsible AI framework. Training development teams on bias awareness and responsible AI principles directly addresses the Chief AI Officer's mandate. Here is how to rule out the alternatives. A. Advanced coding skills improve technical execution but do not teach developers how to identify or mitigate ethical bias in datasets. B. Advanced ML algorithms teach developers how to build more complex models, which often decreases explainability and does not inherently address fairness or bias. C. Data privacy and encryption are critical security practices, but they protect data confidentiality. They do not address the fairness or explainability of the model's actual predictions. Use this elimination rule in the exam. Fairness, explainability, transparency, robustness, and privacy are the defining dimensions of responsible AI. Question number 282. contains an important exam distinction. This question moves us into Bedrock guardrails. The key exam clue is contained in this scenario. A security team discovers that users are successfully using prompt injection attacks to force a company's new generative AI chatbot to output harmful and restricted content. The company needs to implement a robust defense mechanism immediately with minimal coding effort. Which solution will secure the chatbot most efficiently? The exam distinction is hidden in these choices. Now, examine choice A. Use chain of thought prompting to instruct the model to think securely before answering. Now, examine choice B. Use Amazon Bedrock guardrails to apply prompt attack content filters and denied topics. Now, examine choice C. Change the underlying foundation model to a different provider. Now, examine choice D. Fine-tune the existing foundation model with examples of prompt injection attacks. After elimination, select B. Use Amazon Bedrock guardrails to apply prompt attack content filters and denied topics. The requirement to solution matches guardrails for Amazon Bedrock provides configurable prompt attack filters that can detect and block suspected injection attempts. Denied topics and content filters can also restrict harmful inputs and outputs, providing a managed runtime safeguard with relatively little application integration. Now, eliminate the distractors. A. Chain of thought prompting is a reasoning technique, not a security control. C. Changing model providers does not by itself prevent prompt injection or restricted output. D. Fine-tuning may influence behavior, but it is not a substitute for runtime filtering and policy enforcement. Exam strategy. Use prompt attack filters for injection attempts and combine them with denied topics or content filters for restricted content. Now tackle question number 283. Scenario. A media company receives weekly PDF product catalogs containing marketing text and high-resolution product photos. The company wants a generative AI multimodal workflow to extract and summarize the information and load structured results into a database. Select the correct order of steps for this multimodal extraction workflow. Use the context of each statement to select its drop-down value. Now solve statement 1. The first step in the workflow is to the blank. Eliminate between 1. Insert the extracted data into the product database, upload the PDF catalogs to an Amazon S3 bucket, or use an Amazon Nova multimodal model to process the PDFs. Now solve statement 2. The second step in the workflow is to the blank. Eliminate between 2. Insert the extracted data into the product database, upload the PDF catalogs to an Amazon S3 bucket, or use an Amazon Nova multimodal model to process the PDFs. Now solve statement 3. The third step in the workflow is to the blank. Eliminate between 3. Insert the extracted data into the product database, upload the PDF catalogs to an Amazon S3 bucket, or use an Amazon Nova multimodal model to process the PDFs. Question type, drop-down. The correct answer is 1. Upload the PDF catalogs to an Amazon S3 bucket. 2. Use an Amazon Nova multimodal model to process the PDFs. 3. Insert the extracted data into the product database. Here is why this answer is correct. The catalogs are first ingested into durable object storage. A multimodal Amazon Nova model can then analyze text and visual elements in the documents and produce structured summaries. The application finally writes the extracted results to the target database. Answer rows. 1. The first step in the workflow is to select. Vertical bar upload the PDF catalogs to an Amazon S3 bucket. Vertical bar stores the incoming source documents for processing. 2. The second step in the workflow is to select. Vertical bar use an Amazon Nova multimodal model to process the PDFs. Vertical bar analyzes the text and visual content and produces extracted results. 3. The third step in the workflow is to select. Vertical bar insert the extracted data into the product database. Vertical bar persists the structured output for downstream use. Here is an important exam tip. A common document workflow is ingest to storage, process with the appropriate AI capability, and persist the structured results. Question number 284. Find the decisive clue before choosing. We are moving to model selection. Identify the decisive constraint before considering the options. A startup is building a global visual search application on Amazon Bedrock. The application requires a highly capable multimodal foundation model that can understand complex images, process text in multiple languages, and perform advanced reasoning tasks. However, the startup has strict budget constraints and needs the most cost-effective option within this high-capability tier. Which Amazon Nova model strikes the best balance of multimodal capability, speed, and cost-effectiveness for this scenario? Eliminate every option that violates even one requirement. Consider option A, Nova Reel. Consider option B, Nova Canvas. Consider option C, Nova Lite. Consider option D, Nova Pro. The correct choice is D, Nova Pro. Here is the reasoning that confirms the answer. Amazon Nova Pro is the highly capable multimodal model in this option set and is described as providing a strong combination of accuracy, speed, and cost for diverse tasks. Its advanced multimodal understanding and reasoning make it the best fit for the stated high-capability requirement. The remaining options fail one or more requirements because A. Nova Reel generates video rather than performing general multimodal understanding. B. Nova Canvas generates and edits images rather than serving as a general reasoning model. C. Nova Lite prioritizes very low cost and fast processing, but Nova Pro is the better choice when advanced reasoning and high capability are explicit requirements. A useful exam pattern is this. Nova Lite prioritizes low cost and speed. Nova Pro targets highly capable multimodal workloads with a balanced price-performance profile. Question number 285. Tests careful elimination. Look for the wording that eliminates the distractors. An IT team is building a retrieval augmented generation, RAG, system with Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases. The team needs a directly supported managed vector store that can persist text embeddings and perform k-nearest neighbor similarity search. Which listed AWS service meets these requirements? Watch for distractors that are valid services but wrong for this scenario. Next, option A, Amazon Redshift. Next, option B, Amazon OpenSearch Service. Next, option C, Amazon DynamoDB. Next, option D, Amazon Elastic Cache. The required response is B, Amazon OpenSearch Service. The key clue points here because Amazon OpenSearch Service supports vector fields and k-nearest neighbor similarity search, and OpenSearch Serverless can be used as a vector store for Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases. It can persist embeddings and retrieve semantically similar content for RAG. A. Amazon Redshift is primarily an analytics data warehouse and is not the directly supported knowledge bases vector store required here. C. DynamoDB data can be integrated with OpenSearch for advanced search, but DynamoDB itself is not the direct vector store selected by this design. D. Elastic Cache for Valke can perform vector search for use cases such as semantic caching, but it is not the directly supported Bedrock knowledge bases vector store required in this scenario. Choose a vector store based on integration and workload requirements. OpenSearch Serverless is a supported option for Bedrock knowledge bases. For question number 286, separate the requirement from the distractors. Next, we enter the topic of model evaluation. Pay attention to qualifiers such as least, most, and minimum. A university research lab is comparing 3 different foundation models to see which one writes the most compelling abstract for a scientific paper. Because compelling writing is subjective, the lab wants a team of subject matter experts to read the generated outputs and rate them manually. Which AWS capability manages this human-in-the-loop evaluation workflow? Compare the options by fit, not by familiarity. Consider option A, use model evaluation on Amazon Bedrock. Consider option B, use automatic evaluation on Amazon Personalize. Consider option C, use sentiment analysis on Amazon Comprehend. Consider option D, use content moderation on Amazon Recognition. The required response is A, use model evaluation on Amazon Bedrock. This option satisfies the complete requirement because Amazon Bedrock natively provides a model evaluation feature that supports both automated metrics and human-in-the-loop evaluations. You can configure a human evaluation job where your own internal team of experts, the scientists, reviews the model's responses side by side and rates them based on subjective criteria like compelling writing. Check why each remaining option is not the best fit. B. Amazon Personalize automatically generates product recommendations based on user behavior. It does not evaluate foundation models. C. Amazon Comprehend provides sentiment analysis on text, which is an automated NLP metric. It does not manage workflows for a human workforce to subjectively evaluate AI writing. D. Amazon Recognition is a computer vision service for analyzing images and video, completely unrelated to evaluating text generated by LLMs. Watch for this clue in similar questions. Evaluating subjective LLM outputs like tone, brand voice, or creativity requires human review. Amazon Bedrock's model evaluation feature supports managing this human-in-the-loop workflow. Let's break down question number 287. Review the scenario and identify what must be achieved. A financial institution deployed a machine learning model on Amazon SageMaker to approve or deny loans. Regulators require the institution to generate feature attribution reports that show exactly how much weight variables like income and credit score carried in the model's final decisions. Which Amazon SageMaker feature generates these explainability reports? Review the options and eliminate any clear mismatch. Choice A, SageMaker Ground Truth. Choice B, SageMaker Canvas. Choice C, SageMaker Clarify. Choice D, SageMaker Feature Store. The option that satisfies the complete requirement is C, SageMaker Clarify. The decisive reason is Amazon SageMaker Clarify is purpose-built to provide transparency into machine learning models. It generates feature attribution reports using techniques like SHAP values that explain exactly how much influence each specific input feature, like income or credit score, had on the model's final prediction, fulfilling regulatory requirements for explainability. The incorrect choices are plausible but unsuitable because A. SageMaker Ground Truth is a data labeling service that routes tasks to human workers. It does not explain model predictions. B. SageMaker Canvas is a visual, no-code interface for building ML models, not the dedicated explainability reporting tool. D. SageMaker Feature Store is a repository for storing and retrieving curated ML variables. It does not compute or report on feature attribution for predictions. Remember this decision rule. Whenever a scenario asks for model explainability, transparency, feature attribution, or bias detection in Amazon SageMaker, the answer is always SageMaker Clarify. Approach question number 288. By checking every constraint. The focus now shifts to human oversight. Identify the decisive constraint before considering the options. A document processing company uses machine learning to extract text from scanned invoices. If the ML model's confidence score for a specific extraction falls below 85%, the company wants the document automatically routed to a human data entry clerk for manual review and correction. Which AWS service orchestrates this specific human-in-the-loop review workflow for ML predictions? Eliminate every option that violates even one requirement. Next, option A, Amazon Inspector. Next, option B, AWS Audit Manager. Next, option C, Amazon Augmented AI, Amazon A2I. Next, option D, Amazon Personalize. The best answer is C, Amazon Augmented AI, Amazon A2I. Amazon Augmented AI, Amazon A2I, makes it easy to build workflows for human review of machine learning predictions. You can define specific confidence thresholds. For example, if the model is less than 85% confident in its text extraction, and A2I will automatically route those low-confidence predictions to human reviewers for manual verification. Here is how to rule out the alternatives. A. Amazon Inspector is an automated vulnerability management service that scans EC2 instances for software security flaws. It does not route ML predictions to humans. B. AWS Audit Manager collects evidence to prove compliance with frameworks like SOC2. It does not build human-in-the-loop workflows for ML data entry. D. Amazon Personalize is a managed service for creating custom product recommendations, not for orchestrating human review of model outputs. Use this elimination rule in the exam. If you need to set a confidence threshold to route low-confidence ML predictions to a human reviewer, human-in-the-loop, the specific AWS service is Amazon Augmented AI, Amazon A2I. Question number 289. Find the decisive clue before choosing. Look for the wording that eliminates the distractors. A data science team needs to provide transparency to business stakeholders regarding how their new customer churn prediction model operates. They need a tool to explain the model's behavior and identify which input features are driving the predictions. Which AWS service or feature provides this model explainability? Compare the options by fit, not by familiarity. Next, option A, Amazon Comprehend. Next, option B, AWS Trusted Advisor. Next, option C, Amazon QuickSight. Next, option D, Amazon SageMaker Clarify. After elimination, select D, Amazon SageMaker Clarify. The requirement to solution matches Amazon SageMaker Clarify is designed to provide transparency and explainability for machine learning models. It analyzes the model and generates reports detailing feature importance, feature attribution, allowing data scientists to explain exactly which input variables drove the model's predictions to business stakeholders. Now eliminate the distractors. A. Amazon Comprehend is an NLP service used for sentiment analysis and entity extraction. It does not explain the internal mechanics of custom ML models. B. AWS Trusted Advisor analyzes your AWS environment and provides best practice recommendations for cost and security. It does not evaluate ML models. C. Amazon QuickSight is a business intelligence by dashboarding tool. While it can visualize data, it is not the SageMaker feature that computes the complex ML explainability metrics. Exam strategy. For explaining model behavior, generating feature attribution reports, and identifying bias in SageMaker, always select Amazon SageMaker Clarify. Question number 290. is a good test of exam judgment. This scenario tests whether you recognize the controlling constraint. An AI engineering team is selecting appropriate techniques for different foundation model applications. Select the correct technique for each use case. Solve the blanks one at a time. Do not carry assumptions between them. For the first statement, evaluate, the team connects the model to an external corporate database so it can retrieve and cite current factual information at inference time. The blank. The candidates are 1. Few-shot prompting, fine-tuning, retrieval augmented generation, RAG, or zero-shot prompting. For the second statement, evaluate, the team asks the model to perform a new summarization task using only its pre-trained knowledge and provides no examples in the prompt. The blank. The candidates are 2. Few-shot prompting, fine-tuning, retrieval augmented generation, RAG, or zero-shot prompting. For the third statement, evaluate, the team updates the model's weights using a curated dataset of 2000 domain-specific prompt and response pairs. The blank. The candidates are 3. Few-shot prompting, fine-tuning, retrieval augmented generation, RAG, or zero-shot prompting. Question type, drop-down. The correct answer is 1. Retrieval augmented generation, RAG. 2. Zero-shot prompting. 3. Fine-tuning. Here is why this answer is correct. RAG retrieves external information at inference time without retraining the model. Zero-shot prompting asks the model to perform a task without examples. Fine-tuning updates model weights using curated training examples. Answer rows. 1. The team connects the model to an external corporate database so it can retrieve and cite current factual information at inference time. Select vertical bar retrieval augmented generation, RAG. Vertical bar retrieves external context to ground the response. 2. The team asks the model to perform a new summarization task using only its pre-trained knowledge and provides no examples in the prompt. Select vertical bar zero-shot prompting. Vertical bar provides an instruction without examples. 3. The team updates the model's weights using a curated dataset of 2000 domain-specific prompt and response pairs. Select vertical bar fine-tuning. Vertical bar adapts model behavior by training on labeled examples. Here is an important exam tip. External context at inference time is RAG. No examples is zero-shot prompting. Changing weights with examples is fine-tuning. Question number 291. Tests careful elimination. Pay attention to qualifiers such as least, most, and minimum. An advertising agency is building an automated campaign generation tool. The tool will create text slogans, generate realistic background images, and locate a product within the final image so a logo can be positioned accurately. Select the correct type of AI model for each task. Treat each blank as a separate decision and choose the best fit. The first blank appears in, the system generates a high-quality, realistic image of a beach from a text prompt. The blank. Choose the stronger fit from 1. Diffusion model, object detection model, or transformer-based model. The second blank appears in, the system generates a contextually relevant slogan for a new sunscreen product. The blank. Choose the stronger fit from 2. Diffusion model, object detection model, or transformer-based model. The third blank appears in, the system locates the sunscreen bottle and returns its bounding box coordinates. The blank. Choose the stronger fit from 3. Diffusion model, object detection model, or transformer-based model. Question type, drop-down. The correct answer is 1. Diffusion model. 2. Transformer-based model. 3. Object detection model. Here is why this answer is correct. Diffusion models are commonly used to generate images from text prompts. Transformer-based language models generate coherent text such as slogans. Object detection models identify and locate objects by returning bounding boxes. Answer rows. 1. The system generates a high-quality, realistic image of a beach from a text prompt. Select vertical bar diffusion model. Vertical bar generates an image from a text description. 2. The system generates a contextually relevant slogan for a new sunscreen product. Select vertical bar transformer-based model. Vertical bar generates coherent natural language text. 3. The system locates the sunscreen bottle and returns its bounding box coordinates. Select vertical bar object detection model. Vertical bar identifies and locates the object within the image. Here is an important exam tip. Text generation commonly uses transformers, image generation commonly uses diffusion, and object localization uses object detection. Approach question number 292. By checking every constraint, look for the wording that eliminates the distractors. A healthcare provider is deploying a predictive model to identify patients at risk of developing diabetes. The Medical Ethics Board requires a quantitative explanation of how attributes such as BMI and age contributed to an individual risk score. Which output should the AI practitioner provide to meet this feature attribution requirement? Watch for distractors that are valid services but wrong for this scenario. Consider option A, Shapley values, SHAP values. Consider option B, a secure model inference endpoint URL. Consider option C, the overall model accuracy measure. Consider option D, the model confusion matrix. The correct choice is A, Shapley values, SHAP values. Here is the reasoning that confirms the answer. SHAP values use a game-theoretic framework to attribute a model prediction among its input features. They provide a quantitative explanation of how features such as BMI and age influence the model's output, although they do not prove causality. The remaining options fail one or more requirements because B, an endpoint URL provides access to inference but does not explain a prediction. C, overall accuracy measures aggregate performance and does not attribute an individual result to specific features. D, a confusion matrix summarizes classification outcomes but does not show feature contributions for a specific prediction. A useful exam pattern is this. Use SHAP values for quantitative feature attribution. Treat them as explanations of model behavior, not proof that a feature caused the outcome. Next is question number 293. The focus now shifts to AI use case selection. A digital transformation team is auditing current IT projects to identify which ones utilize generative AI technologies versus traditional predictive machine learning or rule-based software. Which project is a clear example of a generative AI use case? Option A, implementing a rule-based engine that suggests products based on if-then shopping cart logic. Option B, using an analytics dashboard to track and graph website traffic over time. Option C, employing a foundation model chatbot to synthesize new, human-like text responses to customer queries. Option D, using a time series machine learning model to forecast next month's product demand. The option that satisfies the complete requirement is C, employing a foundation model chatbot to synthesize new, human-like text responses to customer queries. The key clue points here because generative AI differs from traditional ML by creating entirely new, original content. A chatbot that uses a foundation model to dynamically synthesize new, human-like text sentences that did not previously exist is a defining characteristic of a generative AI use case. A A rule-based engine relies on hard-coded programming logic, if X then Y, not artificial intelligence or neural networks. B. An analytics dashboard visualizes historical structured data. It does not generate new content or predictions. D. Forecasting next month's product demand is a traditional, predictive machine learning task, time series regression, not generative AI, because it outputs a continuous numerical estimate rather than novel unstructured content. Generative AI creates new text, images, audio, or code. Traditional ML predicts numbers, classifies categories, or groups data. For question number 294, separate the requirement from the distractors. Identify the decisive constraint before considering the options. A legal tech company is benchmarking 3 different large language models to see which one writes the best brief summaries of long court transcripts. They will compare the AI-generated summaries against a set of summaries written by expert paralegals. Which automated metric is the industry standard for evaluating this specific summarization task? Eliminate every option that violates even one requirement. Next, option A, mean squared error, MSE. Next, option B, recall-oriented understudy for gisting evaluation, ROUGE. Next, option C, area under the rock curve, AUC. Next, option D, recall. The required response is B, recall-oriented understudy for gisting evaluation, ROUGE. This option satisfies the complete requirement because ROUGE, recall-oriented understudy for gisting evaluation, is the industry standard automated metric specifically designed to evaluate natural language summarization tasks. It measures quality by calculating the n-gram, word sequence, overlap between the AI-generated summary and a high-quality human reference summary. Check why each remaining option is not the best fit. A. Mean squared error, MSE, evaluates traditional regression models, predicting continuous numbers, not generative text. C. Area under the rock curve, AUC, evaluates the performance of binary classification models, not text summarization. D. Recall measures false negatives in classification models. While ROUGE is recall-oriented, pure classification recall is not the metric used to evaluate generative text overlap. Watch for this clue in similar questions. Evaluating summarization is equal to ROUGE. Evaluating translation is equal to BLUE. Question number 295. Review the scenario. A defense contractor uses Amazon Bedrock to process highly classified documents within their Amazon VPC. Security policies strictly prohibit any data traffic between their VPC and AWS AI services from traversing the public internet. Which AWS networking service must the contractor use to enforce this private connection? The choices are: Choice A, AWS Private Link. Choice B, AWS Glue. Choice C, Amazon CloudFront. Choice D, AWS Lake Formation. The best answer is A, AWS Private Link. The decisive reason is AWS Private Link provides private connectivity between a virtual private cloud, VPC, and AWS services. By provisioning a VPC endpoint for Amazon Bedrock, the contractor ensures that all API requests and highly classified document data travel exclusively over the secure AWS private network, completely bypassing the public internet. The incorrect choices are plausible, but unsuitable because B, AWS Glue is a serverless data integration and ETL service. It does not configure network routing or VPC endpoints. C, Amazon CloudFront is a content delivery network, CDN, designed to accelerate the delivery of public web assets over the internet, which explicitly violates the private routing requirement. D. AWS Lake Formation helps set up and govern secure data lakes, managing fine-grained access control to data, but it does not establish private network routes to AWS AI API endpoints. Remember this decision rule. Whenever strict security policies require API traffic between a VPC and an AWS service, like Bedrock or SageMaker, to bypass the public internet, the solution is AWS Private Link. Approach question number 296. By checking every constraint, we are moving to AI service selection. Pay attention to qualifiers such as least, most, and minimum. An e-commerce platform wants to increase sales by automatically showing users personalized product suggestions based on their past browsing and purchasing history. The company lacks in-house machine learning expertise and wants a fully managed service. Which AWS service is purpose-built to deliver this real-time recommendation capability? Watch for distractors that are valid services but wrong for this scenario. Consider option A, Amazon Personalize. Consider option B, Amazon Comprehend. Consider option C, Amazon Poly. Consider option D, Amazon Transcribe. The correct choice is A, Amazon Personalize. Amazon Personalize is a fully managed AWS AI service that allows developers to quickly build and deploy real-time, customized recommendation engines based on historical user behavior, without requiring any prior machine learning expertise. Here is how to rule out the alternatives. B. Amazon Comprehend is a natural language processing service used to extract sentiment and entities from text, not to build product recommendation engines. C. Amazon Poly converts written text into lifelike spoken audio. It is not a recommendation system. D. Amazon Transcribe converts spoken audio into text transcripts. Use this elimination rule in the exam. If an application needs to provide product recommendations or personalized content based on user history without writing ML code, the service is Amazon Personalize. Start by identifying the requirement in question number 297. First, locate the key operational constraint. A hospital's IT department publishes a formal policy stating that all patient training datasets used for machine learning must be securely archived for 7 years and then permanently destroyed. Which specific data governance concept does this policy represent? Check each option against the exact requirement. Option A is data quality standards. Option B is data retention. Option C is data de-identification. Option D is log storage. After elimination, select B. Data retention. The requirement to solution matches data retention policies dictate exactly how long an organization must securely store specific types of data, for example, 7 years for healthcare records, before the data is legally allowed to be, or mandated to be, permanently deleted. This is a core component of overall data governance and compliance. Now eliminate the distractors. A. Data quality standards define requirements for data accuracy, completeness, and consistency before training, not how long the data is stored. C. Data de-identification involves stripping personal information, PII, from records to anonymize them. It does not dictate the storage lifespan or deletion schedule. D. Log storage refers to where operational system events are kept. It is an infrastructure concept, whereas the rule governing the lifespan of patient datasets is a data retention policy. Exam strategy. Rules dictating how long data is stored and, when it must be deleted, describe data retention policies. Focus on the key wording in question number 298. Focus on the requirement that drives the design choice. A machine learning engineer trains a deep neural network to classify images of defects on a manufacturing line. The model achieves 99.8% accuracy on the training dataset. However, when tested on a completely new, unseen evaluation dataset, the accuracy drops to 65%. What is the standard machine learning term for this failure to generalize? The exam distinction is hidden in these choices. Now examine choice A. The model requires prompt engineering. Now examine choice B. The model is underfit. Now examine choice C. The model is overfit. Now examine choice D. The model is biased. After elimination, select C. The model is overfit. Here is the reasoning that confirms the answer. Overfitting occurs when a machine learning model learns the training data too well, essentially memorizing the noise and exact details of the training set rather than learning the general underlying patterns. This results in incredibly high training accuracy, but very poor accuracy when the model is tested on new, unseen evaluation data. The remaining options fail one or more requirements because A. Prompt engineering applies to generative AI foundation models receiving text instructions, not to custom deep neural networks being trained from scratch for image classification. B. Underfitting occurs when a model is too simple to learn the patterns in the data, resulting in poor accuracy on both the training data and the evaluation data. D. Bias occurs when a model discriminates against a demographic or produces skewed results based on unrepresentative data. It does not describe the mathematical failure to generalize from training to testing. A useful exam pattern is this. High training accuracy plus low testing accuracy is equal to overfitting. The model memorized the training data. Low training accuracy plus low testing accuracy is equal to underfitting. The model failed to learn anything. Let's analyze question number 299. This question moves us into ML data concepts. Read the scenario with the target outcome in mind. A telecommunications company is building a predictive model to forecast future bandwidth congestion. The data engineering team must collect network speed measurements from thousands of routers at exactly 5-minute intervals over a 6-month period. Which data type classification accurately describes this chronological measurement data? Now compare the choices one requirement at a time. Option A is text data. Option B is audio data. Option C is tabular data. Option D is time series data. The option that satisfies the complete requirement is D, time series data. The key clue points here because time series data consists of a sequence of data points recorded at specific, successive time intervals. Collecting internet speed measurements from routers at exact 5-minute intervals over 6 months creates a chronological dataset perfectly suited for time series forecasting algorithms to predict future disruptions. A. Text data consists of unstructured natural language, like emails or reviews, which cannot be used to forecast numerical internet speeds. B. Audio data consists of sound files, like customer service recordings, not numerical network telemetry. C. Tabular data refers to general rows and columns. While time series data is often stored in tables, time series data is the specific, accurate ML classification for chronological measurements used for forecasting. Data collected sequentially at specific time intervals, for example, every 5 minutes, daily, monthly, for the purpose of forecasting is classified as time series data. Next is question number 300. Identify the requirement in this scenario. A team of data scientists is using Amazon SageMaker Clarify to generate feature attribution reports. These reports show business stakeholders exactly which variables, like income or age, carried the most weight when the model denied a loan application. Which foundational AI concept is the team addressing by providing this visibility into the model's logic? Review the options. Option A, model interpretability. Option B, model interoperability. Option C, model performance. Option D, model training. The required response is A, model interpretability. This option satisfies the complete requirement because model interpretability, often used interchangeably with explainability, is the degree to which a human can understand the cause of a machine learning model's decision. Generating feature attribution reports to show stakeholders exactly which inputs, income, age, drove the loan denial provides this critical visibility into the model's logic. Check why each remaining option is not the best fit. B. Model interoperability refers to the ability of different ML systems, frameworks, or deployment environments to work together, for example, using ONNX formats, not explaining decisions to humans. C. Model performance refers to mathematical metrics like accuracy, latency, or F1 score. It proves the model works well, but does not explain how it works. D. Model training is the process of building the model by adjusting its weights based on data, which occurs before the model can be interpreted. Watch for this clue in similar questions. Understanding why an AI made a specific decision and how it works internally is the definition of model interpretability and explainability. Question number 301. Find the decisive clue before choosing. Next, we enter the topic of AI inference. Look for the wording that eliminates the distractors. A machine learning team has finished training a new deep learning model to recognize different types of vehicles. The model is now ready to be deployed to a production environment. In the context of artificial intelligence, which statement best describes the inference phase? Compare the options by fit, not by familiarity. Next, option A. The procedure for gathering and preparing raw data to be used in training an AI system. Next, option B. The application of a previously trained model to evaluate and make predictions on new, unseen data. Next, option C. The architectural design process of selecting and creating new AI algorithms. Next, option D. The technique of ensembling several separate AI models to form a single, stronger model. The best answer is B. The application of a previously trained model to evaluate and make predictions on new, unseen data. The decisive reason is in machine learning and AI. Inference is the operational phase where a fully trained model is applied to new, live data to generate predictions, classifications, or other outputs. The incorrect choices are plausible, but unsuitable because A. Gathering and preparing data occurs during the data pre-processing phase, not inference. C. Designing architectures and algorithms happens before training begins. D. Combining multiple models is known as ensembling, which is a structural technique rather than the definition of inference. Remember this decision rule. Remember that training is how a model learns from data, while inference is when the trained model actually makes predictions in the real world. Work through question number 302. Step by step. Start by separating the facts from the requirement. A lending institution relies on a machine learning model to determine the maximum loan amounts for applicants. Stakeholders have raised concerns that applicants do not understand why they receive certain loan limits and want the system's decisions to be more understandable. Which approach should the institution take to increase the transparency of the model's decisions? Use the scenario constraints to assess these choices. Choice A. Replace the machine learning model with a strict rule-based algorithm to ensure deterministic outcomes. Choice B. Utilize explainable AI, XAI, Methods to highlight which input variables most strongly impacted the model's output. Choice C. Share the underlying model architecture and source code directly with applicants via an interactive dashboard. Choice D. Focus exclusively on improving the overall accuracy metric of the model to build customer trust. The correct choice is B. Utilize explainable AI, XAI, methods to highlight which input variables most strongly impacted the model's output. Explainable AI, XAI, provides tools and frameworks, such as SHAP or LIME, that help stakeholders understand how complex machine learning models arrive at their decisions, identifying which features contributed most to a specific outcome. Here is how to rule out the alternatives. A. Reverting to a strict rule-based algorithm abandons the benefits of machine learning and may drastically reduce system performance. C. Sharing raw source code or complex model architecture with non-technical applicants does not make the decision understandable, it merely exposes technical details. D. Improving accuracy does not improve interpretability or transparency. Highly accurate deep learning models are often black boxes. Use this elimination rule in the exam. When questions ask about building trust, transparency, or understanding model behavior, look for explainability or features like Amazon SageMaker Clarify. Move to question number 303. Scenario. A marketing team is using an image generation foundation model, such as Amazon Nova Canvas, to create promotional artwork. The team wants to reduce the likelihood that unwanted objects, such as clocks or text, appear in the generated images. Which technique should the team use to tell the model which objects or style characteristics to exclude? Review the options. Option A. Add the unwanted objects to a negative prompt. Option B. Increase the model's randomness setting to encourage varied outputs. Option C. Increase the maximum number of generated images. Option D. Switch models without first testing the available generation controls. The best answer is A. Add the unwanted objects to a negative prompt. The requirement to solution match is a negative prompt, represented by the negative text parameter in Amazon Nova Canvas, tells the image model which objects or style characteristics should be excluded. It guides generation away from unwanted content, although probabilistic generation does not provide an absolute guarantee. Now eliminate the distractors. B. More randomness can increase variation and does not specifically exclude the unwanted objects. C. Generating more images changes output quantity, not the exclusion instructions. D. Switching models adds effort and is unnecessary before using the model's supported negative prompt control. Exam strategy. Use a negative prompt to reduce unwanted content in generated images. Treat it as generation guidance rather than a deterministic guarantee. Question number 304. Tests careful elimination. Next, we enter the topic of Amazon Translate. Identify the decisive constraint before considering the options. A global media organization publishes daily news reports in Spanish. To reach a wider audience, the organization wants to automatically provide these reports in French and German on their web portal with minimal latency. Which AWS service feature is designed to meet this requirement? Watch for distractors that are valid services but wrong for this scenario. Consider option A, Amazon Textract document data extraction. Consider option B, Amazon Comprehend sentiment analysis. Consider option C, Amazon Transcribe streaming audio processing. Consider option D, Amazon Translate real-time text translation. After elimination, select D, Amazon Translate real-time text translation. Here is the reasoning that confirms the answer. Amazon Translate is a neural machine translation service that delivers fast, high-quality, affordable, and customizable language translation. It is the appropriate service for translating text between languages. The remaining options fail one or more requirements because A. Amazon Textract is used for extracting text and data from scanned documents, not for translating languages. B. Amazon Comprehend is an NLP service used for sentiment analysis, entity recognition, and topic modeling, but it does not translate text. C. Amazon Transcribe converts speech to text, audio transcription. A useful exam pattern is this. Match the AWS AI service to the task, translate for language translation, transcribe for speech to text, and poly for text to speech. For question number 305. Separate the requirement from the distractors. Pay attention to qualifiers such as least, most, and minimum. A healthcare software provider is building an AI assistant to help medical professionals draft clinical notes. The model needs to be trained on data that accurately reflects domain-specific language and interactions. Which type of dataset would be most appropriate for training this AI assistant? Eliminate every option that violates even one requirement. Consider option A, large collections of unrelated product identifiers and customer demographic records. Consider option B, a wide variety of conversational transcripts featuring relevant medical terminology. Consider option C, aggregated time series data showing regional hospital supply purchases. Consider option D, sentiment analysis scores derived from popular medical blogs. The option that satisfies the complete requirement is B, a wide variety of conversational transcripts featuring relevant medical terminology. The key clue points here because to effectively train or fine-tune an AI assistant for a specialized domain like clinical drafting, the dataset must be representative of the task. Diverse conversational transcripts containing the correct medical terminology directly align with the target use case. A. Unrelated product identifiers offer no semantic value for an AI drafting medical notes. C. Numerical time series data cannot teach a natural language model how to write text. D. Sentiment scores are isolated metrics and do not contain the vocabulary and conversational structures required to draft clinical notes. The quality and relevance of the training dataset directly dictate a model's performance on domain-specific tasks. The data must match the desired output modality and context. Question number 306 is a good test of exam judgment. We are moving to classification metrics. The key exam clue is contained in this scenario. A data science team is evaluating a classification model trained to identify fraudulent transactions. The dataset is highly imbalanced, with legitimate transactions vastly outnumbering fraudulent ones. The team needs to evaluate the model using a metric that balances the trade-off between false positives and false negatives. Which evaluation metric is most appropriate for this scenario? Focus on which option satisfies the complete requirement. Option A, F1 score. Option B, accuracy. Option C, mean absolute error, may. Option D, recall alone. The required response is A, F1 score. This option satisfies the complete requirement because the F1 score is the harmonic mean of precision and recall. It is appropriate when the positive class is rare and the evaluation goal requires one metric that balances false positive and false negative concerns. Check why each remaining option is not the best fit. B. Accuracy can be misleading when the majority class dominates the dataset. C. Mean absolute error is a regression metric for numerical prediction errors. D. Recall measures how many actual fraud cases are found but does not account for false positive predictions. Watch for this clue in similar questions. Use F1 when a classification problem requires a balance between precision and recall. Select metrics according to the business cost of each error type. You have completed part 11 of the AIF-C01 exam practice series. Continue your preparation by opening the complete playlist and watching the remaining parts in sequence. Please like this video, subscribe to Tech with Kaushik, and enable notifications for more certification exam preparation content. Share your score, questions, or feedback in the comments. Thank you for watching. See you in the next part.